everyone. My name's Cliff Maag with Maag Audio, and I just want to, and Maag Audio wants to shout out a hi to all of the Gearslutz family out there and at Gearslutz.com, and we're happy to be here today to introduce to you our Magnum K compressor. This is a new compressor that we've just developed and are out with. I'll go through the sections in it. It has an input section, an input attenuator, an input gain. There's two separate circuits that allow us to gain and attenuate, but they're independent circuits to do those two functions. Next, we'll look at the compressor, the Magnum compressor. This is the main compressor, and it has the gain set where you can compress 4, 8, 12, 16 dB. If you're on the 4, it's not going to over compress beyond 4. It's going to compress 4, and you can rest assured if you're cutting a vocal that that's the amount of compression when it hits the amount when it hits the meter at that level. This is the meter for the compressor, that small LED. You'll see that in a minute as we operate. This is the threshold and the ratio and the same things that you see on most compressors with the attack release. This is an opto compressor. In it also we have a side chain with built-in filters with high passes at 40, 80, 120, and 220. And it also has an external, the final one over, where you can exit out with XLRs to do de-essing or another filter that you want to use to high pass. Then the next thing that we have is feedback and feed forward. In the feedback position, it'll do the 16 dB of compression we talked about. But what's kind of crazy is when we go to, crazy to me and kind of, that it's interesting it does, when we go to the feed forward and we take the ratio to clear full gain on the ratio and we hit the threshold at full gain, it'll do 30 dB of compression. Now, I don't know if anybody's going to need to use that, but I'm sure somebody out there will figure out how and why they want to use 30 dB of compression. So that's just one thing that it can do, and I just wanted to point it out so you guys know that it can kind of go crazy. So we'll keep it in the feedback position for this demo, and I've got it pretty much set for where I know this demo will feel good. Then the next thing we have is another Magnum K, the K part of the Magnum K compressor. This is the K part. The K is going to have another LED that will be the VU for to tell you how much compression you're doing. Then it also, when you engage it, it will grab it at 2.5 K, and as I compress it, it will just take the edge off of maybe a vocal that might get edgy, or a horn that hits a loud stab that might get edgy to you. You can adjust the amount of that 3K that you'll let go through and be compressed. So it'll compress that. And next we have the parallel EQ that'll set on top of the compressed signal that we just described. The parallel EQ is an EQ2, and what we'll do is when it's engaged, you'll see the lights come on. And in an EQ2, it has the same settings that all of this has. The tight band right there is a one octave band pass. It's all of the top numbers on the band pass. When you hit the wide band, it'll hit the wider numbers, which is another set of different frequencies. So you've got 12 frequencies basically right around that in that area where you can have it tight or wide. Right now I'm going to keep it on tight on these two channels as we go. And then I have the gain that I can add back in like I would consider this gain as a balance back to the compressor, so I can mix between the two. So I'm mixing how much of this I want to bring in with the compressor. Then at the end I'm summing them, and then I sum them, and I can add airband to it. I can add the airband in the Magnum K, and then I'm going to sum them, and this is the makeup gain, and now I have a soft limit. I have a soft limiter on the end. So literally there's 1, 2, 3, 4 units in just one channel that we have. So let's play something, and let's maybe take a listen to what it does, and we'll add all these different elements as we go. Okay? So right now I'm going to kick in, I'm going to compress. Now you can see I'm compressing the edge on that horn. There's with it out, there's with it in. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make up some of that with the air band in the, and I can adjust the amount I want to tune in. And I'll let it get to something that's edgy, but you can hear where I can add the air band back into that. So now those horns were being compressed with the Magnum K, and now they're, and they're not compressed much right now, but you can at least take it here and hear what I can add with the air band back in. Right now I'm at 40K, so the slope is just coming back and adding some of that presence back in it. Now I'll kick in the low end. So now you can hear what I can do in the low end. Right now, I'm on the tight band pass. I'm at 40 cycles. Now I'll boost it. And you can hear I can adjust where I'm gonna blend back in that 40 cycles. Now I've got where I'm hitting pretty close to 0 at the compressor. Now I'm gonna kick in the limiter on the end. Now I can bring this up a little bit. Now you'll see the limiter LEDs working, and I'll boost it up. So that meter, now if you look at the whole unit, if you back off and look at the whole unit, you can look at 6 meters that you're watching right now, and you can tell what each meter is doing instantly. I can back down if I want less compression. So I can back that compressor down. I can kick it into 8 dB of compression. Now I just dropped an 8 dB. So now I can compress that harder, and then I can gain up further on the output because I lost 4 more dB. So that just gives you a quick deal. I'm doing 8 dB of compression on this song. Here's where I started. So that's the Maag Magnum K. And I hope you get a chance to check it out further and get some good demos. And thanks everybody so much. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to this video. And thanks to Gearslutz.